Hi everybody, welcome back to 6 Questions with Alana. I have Jen Curan with us, our beautiful chair.
Hello.
Yay! So she's going to talk to us about her in-person piece. There's going to be 2, so get ready. And the first piece was The Return to Peculiar Adventures.
Yes, based off of Alice in Wonderland.
You'll see that right away. You'll totally see that.
Very clear.
So our first question is, what first drew you into choreography?
Ooh, great one. I'm trying to think of when the first time I started choreographing things was, and for me as a child, like this was just part of my everyday life. So I grew up on the street Paysmont Drive, and we had a group called the Paysmont Players, where we choreographed shows.
I love this so much.
And it is on VHS tape if anyone ever really wants to know.
We'll upload that to YouTube next.
So yeah, I want to say I started doing that when I was like between 5 and 6. So I don't remember my life without like having choreography in it. Even in middle school, and I went to a regular middle school, in PE, they made us choreograph a dance. And I remember like I did it to Janet Jackson, like, classic. Yeah, classic. So like I feel like choreography and like creating movement has like always been part of my life.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine not doing it. I would say in general that it's my favorite thing about dance is creating movement and like going through the process. It's not always the end, but like the whole rehearsal process, like picking the dancers, working with the dancers, having that interaction, like that's probably my favorite part. And then seeing the piece come together obviously is fulfilling, but I feel like as a choreographer it's never really done for me. I'm always like, oh, I could go back and like refinish that piece or redo it, and I have done that several times, and things ebb and change with, you know, dancers that are in it or the time or not. So
that's so funny. I love it. So question number 2 is, what movement styles do you most enjoy teaching and choreographing?
Oh, I would say for me, modern and ballet are probably my like 2 favorite. I feel like my movement qualities all have some I dance professionally in ballet company. Like ballet is in my soul. I started it when I was 2 years old. I like don't know a world again without ballet. So there is, I feel like that's always like showing up in my movement and qualities in some way, but I really love like weight sharing, partner work, things that are like really unique to the dancers that I'm working with. So that as well. So like improv and teaching choreography, like mentoring and helping other people figure out what their voice is in terms of movement. Those are all things I really love to teach. So I can't pick one.
You don't have to pick just one.
All of those.
You can pick as many as you want. Question number 3 is, what do you see as the benefits of teaching dance in an academic setting for the students? What benefits do you see there?
Well, one, it's always great to be able to like say like, I have this degree and I put in this and it's really clear. If you go to, you know, just studio, you may not have that same like accomplishment feeling at the end. It's like there's a start and an end, and there's like goals. So I think that's important. I think also when you get into higher level education, in terms of like even after community college, but getting like a master's or PhD, being able to have a better understanding of the history, doing research, how that applies to the arts, even like being a faculty member now at the community college, we don't have to do like service in the same way that some 4-year colleges do, where they're supposed to be doing research, but choreography can be considered research. So, you know, diving into your piece, doing background, history, writing, academic things, all of that can lead to other pathways and maybe open up the dance field so that people don't think it has one purpose. Like you don't just have to be a dancer. There's so many other things you can do.
Totally.
So I think it just gives people that perspective of what is possible.
Yeah. So many more avenues than just like, I'm dancing on stage. There's
exactly.
Like, so many different fields.
Or I have to choreograph. And it doesn't have to be one thing. And I think a lot of times people get done with high school, they think like, oh, I can only do this if I want to be a professional dancer or if I want to be a choreographer. But there's so many other things.
Yeah, totally. Number 4, let's dive into your piece a little bit more. What was the storyline idea behind this piece?
So this piece, ironically, I was looking for music for my other piece, and I found this piece of music, and I just fell in love with it. And it was titled like Alice in Wonderland or something like that. And it totally sounds like this like kind of evil Alice in Wonderland theme. And I was like, oh, it's just like a brilliant piece of music. So that was like my number one like inspiration. And then I was like, okay, like Mad Hatter Tea Party. But I was like, I don't know if I want to do tea. I'm like, let's do a card game. Yeah. So it's kind of like revisiting this idea that you're in this other world with Alice and these characters, and you know, things go askew and weird and abnormal. Yes. So it's just fun, playful. I wanted a table. Yeah. So we used the table and the chair props and really wanted to make sure that was incorporated. We had big cards, a deck of cards that was used in it. And then like about halfway through the process, I had this, you know, crazy idea where I wanted him to jump off the end of the stage and like just completely disappear. So I went over to our folks in the theater, and our lighting designer was like, hey, like, can we jump into the pit, or is that like the craziest thing in the world? And they were like, no, you could do that.
Do it.
And so we got to work with even one of the guys that works in the theater department as does stage combat. So we helped like coach the dancers through like how to fall and not land when they're like coming down. So yeah, it was just a really like fun piece. I wouldn't even say it wasn't lighthearted necessarily, but it just didn't have the intensity of some of the other pieces that I've done or other people do. So it was fun to just kind of create characters, and the costume design was really fun for that reason too.
Our next question actually kind of goes into that. So the next question is kind of how lights, costumes, props played a role in your piece, and for yours it was
key.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. So I mean, the props really started us off. Teresa had actually used that table in a piece like I don't know, 4 years ago. So I went back to Don and was like, hey, like that table, do we still have it? And he was like, we do. And so we put new legs on it. And then we have a prop room that has like a bunch of fun chairs. So we just kind of went in there on our first rehearsal day and like picked up chairs. And then costumes with Christina, I was like, you know, I want them to be in the characters, but I don't necessarily want it to be like the Disney version of it or the cartoon. But I was like some type of inspiration. We talked about steampunk, but kind of ended up wanting to have color and other things. So it was really fun to see them all come together. And then also like, how can they still move but have like hats and ears and tails and all of that good stuff. And she definitely was able to make it danceable so they could do all of the crazy movements and do all the crazy things, and then also, you know, still get the storyline across. So I feel like this piece would be nothing if we didn't have all of those elements. And then Crystal with lighting, you know, there were so many details that needed to be seen, but also like to be able to isolate the space and not have it feel too huge. So she did a really great job of making sure the dancers were seen, but it wasn't like too much where you were like, whoa, where am I? What's happening? So
the costumes were perfect. They were so good.
It really worked out. And then for this piece, like I feel like we had like a lot of weird things happen. We had dancers get sick and miss rehearsal. We had a dancer get injured the week of the show and have to fill in. So Kazuma was so wonderful to be able to learn the piece so quickly and step in, which was insane. So it's just like a number of weird things that happened. It was definitely a peculiar adventure to create the piece and to have it, but I was really proud of the dancers and all the work they did. I think it came out great, but it definitely is not a piece we're going to be able to like tour or probably ever use again. So it's lived it was worth it. It's lived its time, and it probably will.
It was so fun. It was so fun to watch. Our last question is, do you have any advice for students who are interested in performing with us here at IBC?
Well, I mean, reach out and ask us for information. I think right now we have such a great social media presence. So checking us out on social, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, seeing what we're all about, what the pieces we have up there, listening to these type of videos so you can get a feel for us. I think number one, we really are a family. We're not looking to create competition between dancers. We're looking to come together for the common good and push ourselves to all be the best versions of ourselves. So if that's something you're interested in, then this is the place for you. And if it's not, then it's probably not the place for you, and that's totally fine. So come check out some of our shows, reach out to me. I'm happy to share about our department. I think some cool things that are unique about us. We have aerial.
Yes, we do.
That's awesome. We do a lot of film and other like kind of special things. So yeah, we're moving and shaking, and hopefully we'll continue to be on the cutting edge. And we have a new building coming in a few years, so lots of good stuff.
Thanks everybody. That was 6 questions.
Thank you.